Hello, everybody. We're going to do that again. Hello, everybody. There we go. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who decided on this Saturn's evening that you would come here to Northstar and be witnesses to this very sacred, very love-infused, ancestrally directed ritual. So thank you for saying yes. So I just have a few things to orient you into the space. So first is that this runs about 90 minutes, no intermission. But if you need to use the restroom, you go down this little vestibule into that alcove and you go straight ahead. You don't look to your left, and you don't look to your right, you just go straight ahead, and that's where the bathroom is. And you'll notice that we have some fabulous lights. We have a fabulous lighting design for this evening. It's not a rave, they don't strobe, but sometimes they gently pulse. So just to be aware of that in terms of sensory needs. You'll also notice that cast members come from hither and thither, down the aisles, around the corner. It's cool. You're not going to get got. It's supposed to happen like this. But just in case you feel a little startled, you can remember, oh yes, this is what's supposed to happen. And to help them out, just make sure that the aisles and the margins are really clear because we want their steps to be unencumbered. Some cast members will speak louder in certain parts, and so it might be experienced as yelling. And then in terms of where the exits are, in case of emergency, there's this exit right here, back there. There's the exit that you entered through. And then we could go through the vestibule, and this time you could turn left. You could look left, and there'll be another exit, okay? Let's see. Also, the cool thing, if you have the time, space, and energy, is that tonight's going to have a little artist talk. A little just, I don't know, you're a chef. What do you eat after you have a meal? Dessert? Exactly. Wow, a dessert. That's exactly what you'll have. You'll have a dessert if you feel so inclined. Thank you, Jessie. Jessie was like, girl. So, and then our invitations for you in the space, and thank you so much to people who are joining us virtually. We feel your energy and love too. But within the space, please silence your phones if you haven't already. And you know, it's interactive, it's immersive, it's in the traditional call and response. So if you're feeling something, you don't have to just sit there and look blank about your face. You don't have to be passive. You don't have to be extractive. You don't have to just treat them as a spectacle. You're a witness, right? So you can snap. Try some snapping. You can say, Try some, You can say, okay. Say that. Right on. Exactly. Y'all are so good at this. And then when they really throw down, you can clap, right? You don't have to be quiet about that either. You can go ahead and clap. Cool. At the end, you'll have an opportunity to donate digitally, or if you have some cash in the cash vessel, in a way that feels abundant and generous to you. Not some capitalist shit, but just like as a way to express gratitude. And to sustain the livelihoods, okay? So I think that's it. Now to prepare the space, we're going to prepare with some breath. And so go ahead and find a comfortable spot, your sweet spot. And it's not about fixing, it's just about finding that sweet spot. What can you do to make yourself 10% more comfortable? And if it feels good to you, you can close your eyes. But if it doesn't, that's cool too. And when you're ready, you can ask yourself what it is that you need to access in this moment. Maybe it's some ease, maybe some trust, maybe some graciousness, maybe it's affirmations of love. Maybe you know it, but it's hard to believe it right now. Maybe you want that conviction. And once you've landed on something, go ahead and breathe that fragrance in and hold it in your lungs for a little bit. And when you're ready, exhale. And the second breath that we're going to take is something that you want to offer to radiate to the folks in the round tonight, the folks that you will be co-creating with tonight. What is it that you want to offer them from your heart? And breathe that in. And then exhale with the noise, sending it to the center. And if your eyes are closed, you can gently flutter them open and meet the gaze of somebody with love. Thank you. Violet sky, fissured earth, cottonmouth. Your hands clasped across your splitting belly. In your craw is the historical entanglement, the half-millennium-long planetary ecocide genocide knot known as since 1492. You were born into it and it into you, churning, burning, bulging within you. Your ears ring, soften your craggy breath. Now a hum, soften your craggy breath. Now a song. Now a song, yes, a cicada song, burrowing into your skull. Go to the edge. Not the bleach pit of the center, but the edge. The song says, go to the edge. No, not the hemorrhaged, modeling borders of empire, but beyond, elsewhere. Go to the edge. Look down. Slivers of moonrise so thin they looked like they could slice the soles of your feet. Illumine your path. You follow them. Sometimes you walk, slither, hop along the slivers of moonrise to the edge. Sometimes the knot makes it that you are writhing, convulsing, revolting to the edge nonetheless. The edge be a liminal space. And you know liminal don't equal marginal. And if you don't know, now you know, but rather liminal be a ritual space, and a ritual space be for summoning and transformation. When you arrive, the fragrance of mulberry trees washes over you. It is dusk. You are not alone here. Others surround you with red threads hanging from their mouths. You feel the knot entangled within you unravel. You all kneel, sink into the edge, pull the threads from each of your own mouths, not always gently, not always gingerly. As you pull, unravel, disentangle, you swoon in somnolence. A summoning hum and howl comes from your throat. And as you summon other worlds, may other worlds summon you. And as you summon another world, may another world summon you. And as you summon Mother World, may Mother World summon, summon, summon. The one who dives, who falls into the wreckage of the ship, cannot come back for or as or by herself. Fred Moten.
In the now times, we know it wiser to seek salvation from the earth than from the divine heavens. For when the heavens have tempted us to merely transcend the earth, the earth has taught us in its oceans, in its sands, in its muds, glory in reckoning, sinking and getting through, transforming and breaking through, so we bury ourselves like cicadas upon unearthing. The first instruction is to weep. And we do not know if excavation this time has rendered us spectacle or spectre. And we do not know if we can trust what the prophet mothers say when they are equal parts fools. Which is to say, prophecies always sound foolish at first. The next instruction is to proceed to the creek. There, we should wash the red from our eyes, the bone stench from our necks. We should marvel at how our hips are no longer tight, while our ankles remain swollen. And we should take from this that no two parts of our bodies knows grief in the same way, not even in the same lifetime, yet just as in our together dreams, when we would seek water and think we could hear it battling, think we could smell thirsty animals nearby. And when we arrive where we promised it would be, we only see trees raised for miles and miles, the ground scorched and bloody. And this we call wreckage.
Keep on talking, keep on talking. Talk to me. Keep on talking, keep on talking, talking, talking. Keep on talking, keep on talking. Talk to me. Keep on talking. Speak to my heart, Holy Spirit. Give me the words that will bring new life. Words on the wings of the morning, the dark night will fade away. If you Speak to my heart now. Speak to my heart. Holy Spirit, give me the words that will bring to life. Words on the wings of the morning, the dark night will fade away. If you speak to my heart now, speak to my heart, Holy Spirit, give me the words that will bring to life. Words on the wings of the morning, the dark night will fade away. If you speak to my heart now, speak to my heart.
Mama say, take this calendula.
It's for the heart. Mama say, don't be like Grandma Mabel. Don't swallow anger down and have it rupture and stroke, Mama say.
This ain't no time for seduction by nostalgia. You better open your mouth.
Open your mouth and speak. Teach your lungs to inhale and exhale certainty. Mama say,
Make your breath do a silent dance to a secret song, Mama say.
You got some lamentation in you, Mama said.
Therefore, we chose you.
open your mouth and call out. Let the bitter worms and raw trapped and loose in your throat fall out. Mama said,
Take this hawthorn, eventide. It's for the heart. Mama say, chew on this little bit of clay. Mama say,
Taste the intimacy of this world's unmaking, Mama say.
be like your grandma Mabel. After starving as a child, declared she'd make a feast for every child she did.
and you best feast, Mama say.
Open up your mouth, cackle, crackle, let the world see each of your teeth, Mama say.
You got lamentation on you, Mama said.
Therefore, we choose you.
Mama say this earth will outlive this world. Mama say again, this earth will outlive this world.
Tell him I ain't playing with them no more. Tell him I said no more hide and seek. I said go ahead and seek me out. Tell him my body be galactic. Tell him my body be God home. Tell him I've been lost too long. I pray. Make me like the stars my ancestors followed, captivating, yet always eluding captivity. I pray, return me to my stardust. I say I've been gone from my star too long. May there be no stargazers. Let there be no gaze or watch upon me. I rebuke all surveil against me. Tell them, do not look at me if they refuse to see me. Ask them, Gawkers, can I have my face back now? Tell them, do not look at me if they only want to capture me, if they only want to consume me, if they only want to feel my flesh burn upon their palate touch. But if they should look at me, and should they, for some reason, see not stars but moon, if they should look at me, and should they, for some reason, see not glow but shadow, and if they are confounded because they thought only light equal presence, tell them I think the fuck not. Tell them I be here. Tell them that whether of spirit or flesh their eyes play no tricks. I said, tell them I be here. Tell them they should know that my dark body exists whether or not it reflects the light of their own.
I come to remold my mouth to speak more bravely.
Say now, did you say you are lost or lost?
Be patient with me. God's not done working on me yet.
How cruel to feel the bounds of our flesh erode while the borders of this nation remain intact.
That's all I'm saying. We should learn to inhabit more tenderness and more menace.
Listen, you can't catch me.
I come to reshape my hands to be more brave.
Trying to get a grip with the grief makes me slip.
Word! I hate to feel around it the same way I want a lot of dirt to ache from my body one day.
Wait for me in the distance between prophecy and prophesied, displaced and misplaced, return and recoil, and I'll be there.
The creek here now is all dried up. It smells like rue, irises, and draws.
I wake up and I can trust that I've done my best and also know that best is often not good enough.
Be patient with me. I'm almost done.
I come to reshape my cavern heart. It's both collapsed and calcified.
Trying to get a grip with the grief makes me sick.
Wait for me in the distance between oil and soil, oil and water, water and blood, blood in the soil.
Or more precisely, I come to reshape the language that's languishing in my mouth as rot. The mouth is mine, the language is not. This tongue is mine, that tongue is not.
Even in my dreams, I do not fight. My punches do not land. My throat turns to wet sand. I am trying to inhabit more tenderness and more menace.
If the bounds of our flesh are in erosion, then these borders are going to get corrosion.
When we say we may mean you, yes, but really we mean, who are you? And who's your mama? For whom have you been refuge?
Trying to get a grip with the tears make my mouth slick.
Care could always make homes of thresholds.
Listen, you can't catch me, at least not all of me.
Be patient. We come here to make the world come undone.
Hey, baby, it's so good to see you. How's your mama now?
So good, she would appreciate that back.
Listen, there's no my water over here. No, their water over there, because the water is the water. The water over here is the water of over there, because the water is the water is the water. The water is the water in the now times. The water is the water in the future that remains. Within the now times is the future that remains, because the water is the water is the water. If somebody starts by poisoning us, they end by poisoning themselves, because the water is the water. We say, you play the water. You play yourself, because the water is the water. The water remembers that the water is the water, even when they try to make us forget the water is the water. The water will remind us the water is the water. Listen. The same sweat that drenched Grandma Nellie's back in the fields once was and is the same pearlescent tears gliding down your face as you laugh once was and is the same river that your daddy, before he was your daddy, got baptized in. The same fog still looming over that battlefield, because the water is the water. This is not to mean all our vulnerabilities are the same. No, this is not to mean our vulnerabilities are theirs, or theirs are ours, or that we all need water in the same way, but to remind, and to remind that your violence can become another's vulnerability, and to remind that the contingency you impose can become the contingency you oppose, and to remind that's the water. Eventually, you'll text yourself, because the water is the now times. The water is the future that remains. The water, it can grieve you. The water, it can grieve you. you better believe the water. Even when we make the water move heavy with lead and oil and dross, even when the water washes us over with loss, the water is the water. The water, it knows violence, yes, but the water, it knows care too. The water, it knows that suffering ain't the only thing that cultivates virtue, because the water is the water. The water knows that you can be better by doing better, because the water is the water. The water, it can cleanse you. The water, it can miss you. The water, it can mold you. The water, it can erode you. The water, it can preserve you in its belly. The water, it can hold you up. The water, it can hold you down. Oh yes, the water, it can hold you though. The water, it can hold you. I said, the water, it can hold you. Come on up here and read.
Notice the hills, how one of them carries on its face a scar, a section where bulldozers and tractors sunk their rusty talons into its cheek, tore away the trees and brush, and left behind a white crater of marble. For the people who live in this valley, it is as if they wear the scar on their own skin, as if a type of ruin has befallen them. Kai Miller.
That's right, and what else?
The earth is kind. It is the world that is cruel.
I think they need to hear that one again. Read.
The earth is kind. It is the world that is cruel.
Scar as evidence of the wound. Scar as proof that what happened did matter. It did materialize after all. Scar, the sight of which is enough to make them flinch, although they didn't flinch when I showed them the wound that preceded. They didn't flinch when they were the ones that wounded me. Scar as knowledge formation. Scar as knowledge that emerges from sight rather than from sight. Scar as knowledge that emerges from holding, from wearing, from inhabiting, rather than from looking, from gazing, from gawking. Scar as embodied knowledge. Scar as making witness. Scar as sigil to conjure healing. Scar as jeremiad. Wound as border. Scar as flesh. Birth as primordial wound. Birthmark as scar. Scar as archive. Wound as world. Scar as the end of it.
May we remember the power of testimony.
May we remember the power of the Chironian.
May we remember the power of discernment.
May we remember that we do not have to open up our wounds
just to prove that we have been wounded.
May we speak that which is ours to speak.
May we know how to honor the unspeakable.
May we decipher what has been inscribed in our flesh.
May we recognize ourselves in the cicatrix. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it be.
And so it be.
More. More, please. More. More magnolias. More finches. More dandelion root tea. More freedom from. More dancing. More bees. More kisses on the apples of cheeks. More listening. More breath. More elsewhere, more bouquets of autumn leaves, more cool waters to play in, more consideration, more soft palms, more caress, more freedom to...
No riddle, no rhyme can offer you no cure. Just possibilities to live alongside the grief that gets stuck behind your eye sockets. Swells the skin under your eyes, stretches the skin across your cheeks, makes your cheeks and temples tender to the touch, makes you too tender to touch.
Before I was here, I was there, you see, elsewhere. Glittering in my refusal to be enshrined in flesh, and once I was even the moon, withholding my countenance from planets unworthy of facing me. They couldn't even faze me. I have many lives cracked from and scattered across the cosmos. I hear them echoing through the ether. I'm just trying to echo back. I mean, haven't you ever yearned for another language, searched for another language, when the first language you were forced to learn cannot name everything you need to decipher twinkling glyphs signed across your flesh? It's not that I study the stars, but I listen for the night to speak, and it is always speaking. Consider moonbeams riddling across the waters of your body, Venus and Jupiter dancing in trine as though intertwined upon your arrival. Consider what it is to seek refuge in retrograde, the tender castings of your own shadow, of your own body that others call terrifying. Consider the generosity of some star gesturing towards another star, guiding fugitive earthlings in fugitive escapes towards freedom. Consider Harriet gazing at those same constellations, gourds spilling possibilities of holding without possession. Consider Turner turning to the sky to read planets' revolutions to turn to our own. Consider that ring of fire you eclipse with blackness at its center. Consider how our conspiracies might configure. Consider us as testaments to the cosmic and telluric. Consider, meaning an invitation to go with one star. Consider the cosmic and telluric as our accomplice and our witness.
Depending on who you are, we might be talking to you. Yes, you. Not you. Looking at you. Right here. Say now, who are you? And who are you now? No, but who are you now? Now, don't forget to say who you are now.
Mama now. Your kin, your bond, your home, your heart, your hearth, your love, as in, how's your mama and them? How they been? An elixir of several strengths, eddying within that dark matter, your dura mater, that tough mother.
Open your mouth. An invocation, incantation, wisdom to call upon for discernment and guidance across dimensions.
As in, mama and them, creatrix of act right, holder of secrets beneath nails, follicles, and calluses, the understory, the earth store.
As in Millie with the long legs, Juanima and Nellie, aka Sister Baby and Big Daisy.
Two-Gun Hattie Mae and Cry who speaks in tongues and kingdom.
And Lil Kev and Clove and Willie Ethel with the cheekbones.
And the West girls who be stomping to the wild, wild west in Texas taverns.
The Wild Wild West.
The Wild Wild West. And Sister Times with the hands. And May with the praise. And Lola the archivist. And Sarah, the 7 generations back.
And Sarah of the sea from here, and Mars, holder of space, and Tra, who drew baths, and Amy, who drew breath.
And Jonathan, cute as a cookie with libations, and HL, and Mabel, who did feast, and Lucinda, lantern along unknown pathways.
And Jessie Mae with the good guitar, and Nina with the healing touch.
And Calendula, and Milk Thistle, and Nettle.
And Omalolu, songstress of sacred sound, and Alexis, divine diviner.
And Lim, who drove through that KKK rally and the people chanting, I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win!
And Rose, sweet Rose who got all the smoke, all the lavender smoke and the black moths that visit on birthdays.
In the Eno River, in the Eno Forest, in the Macon Georgia Dirt, and in Ngozi, an infusion of truth, and Joanna, the dream walker, and the cicada song.
A sacred word. If it don't belong in your mouth, with your mouth, don't put it there.
Child. In the now times, this is what we know. To build a mother world is never easy. Not when a silence stews and sulfur stench of hunger brews on our breath. And yes, we can remember what the prophet mother sang in the oracles of Mama and them.
Y'all be sweet now. To each other. You hear?
And yes, we are striving to be sweet, but what a striving sweetness is when we are surviving off the bile and salt and sweat from our flesh. And yes, it is it is never an easy thing. No, never easy, not when our calves are tired, so tired, and our feet weeping blistered and tender. It's not easy when we are forced to hide in the same trees we know fugitives before us had to hide in. Not when we are forced to hide in the same trees others were hanged from.
This is what we know, that when it is not easy, it makes it even more necessary to be sweet with each other, even more necessary to dream with each other. So we find a patch of earth that still has soil and lie down. Fingers laced like mycelium, and it's never easy when there are pebbles underneath our elbow and at the crevices of our spine, and it's never easy when there's dust in our nostrils and in our dry throats, and it is never easy when we are hungry, not metaphorically hungry, but hungry and thirsty, not poetically thirsty, but thirsty. And it is never easy once we have fallen and dreamed with each other and gotten to a crossroads. Tonight, some of us want to go away where some get honey, but not all of us. And what determines what gets us fed is arbitrary, like our hair or our age or our tongues or our genders or how we love and express our anger or our hue, or what we can and cannot do with our bodies. And in this dream, some of us cry.
But something is better than nothing.
And in this dream, some of us cry.
But we said we weren't going to settle no more. We said we came to unsettle.
And some of us scream because it is the only way we know to get some of us to care. And some of us scream because it is the only way we know to prove to our own selves that we care. And some of us furl our fists because we are used to fighting this way and have had to fight kindred and will fight them again if it means we can survive. And some of us furl into ourselves because we have fought enough, lost enough, and want to, if only for a bit, rest.
This is what we know. We practice dreaming together. Not because we know that the place of our dream exists, but because we know that our dream is possible by virtue of our dreaming it.
This is what we know. The place that we are seeking. The place that we call a good place is a place that others have called no place. A place that others have believed to be nowhere and have designed other worlds like our receding one in such a way so that this place that sustains life like ours, sustains black life, is nowhere. And we are bold enough to believe that we can create it to be now here. This is what we know. We did not come this far to recover who we once were, but to recover the desire to be who we need to become.
God of my mama.
And my mama's mama.
And my mama's mama's mama.
God who formed me.
In the holler living.
In the hollow.
Of my mama's mouth.
God of the blue.
Spaces between language.
God of songs.
That find hearth.
In the ocean of the bones.
That seek ocean.
In the origin.
God who knows I be burning bush.
God who knows I be holy.
Ground.
God who has heard my cries.
To give me water.
Please.
God who has seen them.
Pour oil on me.
Pour oil on me.
And call it
anointing.
God is my witness.
We need transformation.
We need transformation. Right now.
God of bitter ash.
Stuck in my craw.
Oh, how I have made
an idol of the pain.
That transfixes me.
God to whom I draw nigh.
God from whom I draw night.
God that dwells within me.
Finds dwelling in the blackness.
Of my psyche.
God that is me.
I said God that is me.
God of the future.
God who can cloak me.
God who can hide me.
God who can hide me.
God who knows my names.
God who knows my heart.
God, make me divine.
God, make me diviner.
God, make me the divinest.
Diviner that ever did.
And ever was divine.
God who knows what lies in my hurt.
God who knows what lied to my heart.
God, may I find hearth in my heart.
God of flesh.
That be smoldering.
God of flesh.
God of flesh.
God of flesh.
Stay with me. Don't leave me when we call it out to you.
God of those killed.
With impunity.
God who knows I be sacred.
God of the lavender scented ring.
That Nilly still played in as an old woman.
God of the belly that bursts.
With the stars.
Trying to escape my daddy.
Mouth when he laughs.
God of glow.
God of this world is not my home.
God of the earth.
That says I am not the world's home.
God of elsewhere. We need transformation.
We need
right now.
Transformation.
We need transformation right now.
Transformation.
We need transformation
right now.
right now.
We need transformation right now. Right now. Right now.
Right now.
Forest again, lying down. Our toes almost touch, but not quite. Forming a circle like the pistil of a flower, our trunks and limbs, the petals.
We are here to practice other ways of breathing, other ways of being with each other.
In this together dream, some of us breathe with sharp intakes of breath when we see the trees and reach for our necks. And the trees,
they seem to feel our hands near the roots and bend back with the wind too. All of us petrified with the memories of being uprooted, cut down. All of us knowing violence, but what else do the prophet mothers say that we know?
Oh yes, we know care too. We let go of our breath. Don't try to hold it captive. Trust it will come back. We know care.
yes, watering the roots. We know care, taking in each other's breath.
Yes, because we need each other's breath to breathe.
Remembering.
Practicing ways of being together beyond the ways we've been forced to. And as we continue to breathe, we notice overhead the hushed adornment of branches against the firmament, The crowns of trees creeping close, so close that they may gently touch, but blossoms blush just enough won't allow their limbs to brush each other. This desire to be close, rooted in honoring spaces needed for growth. How becoming is this becoming? Haloed branch furtively unfurls alongside haloed branch, enshrines the hollows as hallowed, unveils the solemn amber glow of above, so the stars can wink below at dirt, fungi, larvae, stone, feathers, and yes, the fugitive, too. May we know how to reach for each other, even if to get just close enough to breathe and breathe with each other, just to be with one another. Yes.
Here the world comes undone. Not like a singular explosion, no more. More like an elliptical eruption, like patchwork, say we who know the signs and believe them not, who believe the signs and know them not, we who believe and who know, we who smell mothballs when there are none, we who dream of fish scales spilling from our mouths when we try to speak, and plastic spilling from theirs when they try to speak to us. We who dream of running with yellow balloons in our left hands and trying to release them before they pop and unleash drones, only to wake again and again and again to drones ending whole worlds over there and over there and over here and over there. We whose senses are conditioned to accommodate exploitation and oppression, even our own. We who study pressure points of the system, of the human body, of the U.S. say, apply pressure here, apply pressure here, apply pressure here, and the world comes undone. We, the living in the wake, we a passing present preservation of a general past that keeps reappearing. We for whom and through whom other dreams have come to live. We who some say are both too late and too early. Who can predict when we might rouse, bolt, or hurl us all into the future? This is not the nostalgic moment we wish to live in, but the mythical place of now, located in the memory and consciousness of those who live with us, after us, and before us. We, free despite thirst, lovely in our dust. We, the probable realms of impossibility, beyond the limits, the uncharted territory, beyond the danger. be the maps between past and present. We who had been driven into cocoons underground. We who took risks that could make it harder to fly. We who know we grieve because we love. We who sip each other's grief with love. Look at us. Look at the way we look at. Look at our wings. Look at our moonlight flight now. Looking like a giant moth, sipping the tears of an anther.
If you recall, these are the now times. And the future that remains, calling to you, calling for you, calling you in, calling you from within the echo, within the portal, through the rainbow, calling you always, calling you all ways. Now this might be kind of hard to hold, because someone, somewhere, at some time may have lied to you, told you that time is linear, and that the world that you inherited is the only world that you can have, and that we are now out of time, especially those of us who have been displaced to be outside of it, but we remain.
We remain. So if we still have a planet, may you always find the work of care in your hands. May you always find this work. Look at your hands, or your heart, or your mind, or your mouth, or your throat, or your stomach, or whatever it is that you use to hold and carry that which you find precious about this world, and know that what is doing the carrying, what is doing the caring, is precious too.
In the future that remains, folks may perhaps look back at us and wonder why we did not appear more thirsty. Why did we not dig more deeply into the earth for groundwater? They might wonder, why had the gift of divining water been lost to us, and why did it take so long for us to get it back? Why did it take so long for us to stop shitting in our clean water when there was Flint and pipelines and the chemicals in the plastic water bottles that shriveled eggs, and the state that eventually began to hoard the seaweed water capsules that we thought might save us? There are many answers. Some of them feel easy to mouth and others do not, depending on how well the word power and its bramble settle on one's tongue. None of them are truly satiating, though, in answering the questions that indubitably arise. Why did we not survive better? Why did it take the world as we knew it to collapse before we were able to live? And we know that the answer,
Because the world as we knew it had to collapse. It was built on our suffering.
only yields more wise. So we gently offer that folks dwelling in the future that remain begin first with asking how we survived.
We fought to survive, yes. And we dreamt, yes.
We knew you'd be coming, child of water, because you'd said as much in our dreams. Often, in your dream visits, you call out to us as you roam the forests of the ether, your voice a silver thread humming. You pull us by the astral cords of our navels, and we follow until we find you bathing in a pool of water, keening under a red moon, its light more distorting than clarifying. The trees encircle the pool in a posture of worship. Catch fire if we try to touch you or even approach. Your silhouette, a kindle for the flames. Your song between the crackling. Soon, soon, soon.
Other times, when you visit, you sit at our feet, between our knees. You lay your head on the softest flesh of our thighs. You let us oil your scalp and braid blue violets in your hair because times of desperation make acts of tenderness and care all the more necessary. We never see you coming. You simply appear on our porch floors of ether with your face turned away. When your hair is finished, you walk from us towards the shore or where it used to be, never once turning around. We call out to you, "Child, will you be back?" And you always say,
Yes, and I promise to bring water.
We've waited long for you to join us in this realm of earth, rather than in a realm of dream and ether. So when we glimpse the back of your white dress, dirtied at its hem with red dust, in the midst of our attempt to gather mist, to drink, we swell. With magnificent breath, run to you shouting, "Yes, you are here, you are here." But before we can touch the back of your shoulder, you turn around, demanding us to gaze into the dazzling shell-adorned mirror that is your face, your voice rippling from within you, saying, "Yes, we are here, we are here."
The end of this world is not the end of the world. Because this world is not the world, no. This world is not the only world, but only a world. Do you feel me? The mythos of capitalism and its empires would deceive us into the belief that we are nothing without it, that there was nothing before it, that there will be nothing after it, that it stretches forward and backward like some hungry hand of God, but the earth will outlive this world. The earth will outlive this world.
Cicadas crooning, you swaying and swooning at the edge of now, at the edge of elsewhere, now here. Moonrise and moth wings, wisps of air. You and yours curl up, foreheads and knees, resting in the dirt. The line of your bodies become like a snail shell, the shape of spiraling smoke. You did not get here alone. Rise where you are. Say now, who and what got you here? Who granted you safe passage in the gloaming? Touch, touch, touch. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Can you feel it? With the tips of your fingers across your skin, in the air, in the dirt, right here. It is yours and ours. Right here.
May we remember that, what they wanted us to forget.
May we remember the parts of us that have been dismembered.
May we be unafraid of the grief inscribed in our chests.
May we remember breath. May we remember breath. May we remember breath.
I say, I am divinity made flesh as incarnate. I say that after the third day, the pain doubled me over. I say I scooted on my belly and I ate the dust and it did not choke me. I say I am shedding. I say I am snake. I say that on the 8th day, I rise up and I run, moving away from dead flesh, dead skin. I say I don't always like the peeling. I say I don't always like the losing. I say I am ghost-filled. You say I take up too much space. I say you mean that I take up space, and of course, because when you say moon dust, I know you mean me. When you say celestial, you know you mean me. I say I held poison in my mouth, and it tasted like mercury, and I did not die. I say I know I be temple, because I've been in ruins. I say my mama say we came through the fire. My mama say she thought the flames would consume us. Mama say we were not consumed, but we came out smelling like smoke. I say on the 5th day, my great-grandma's name be Nellie. I say Nellie met this man, and this man was nice. And all she ever wanted was nice. So she walked away with him when she was 17. I say this man, who was old enough to be her father, led her into the Texas woods, and he locked her up in a shack, and he beat her, and he raped her, and he starved her. I say her sister, my Aunt Lucinda, wasn't gonna give up on looking for her. I say my Aunt Lucinda, a black woman, cared enough about another black woman, and she was gonna find her. I say she found my grandma and waited until the old man left and scooted on her belly like a snake into the shack. I say she got into the shack and found my grandma on her belly too, and together they rose up and they ran. I say my grandma made 2 promises to herself that day, that she would never be taken advantage of again and that she would never starve. So I say I be full of myself. I say I be enchantress. I say I be shape-shifting. I say it took a culmination of miracles. Miracles. Just for me to be here. I say, it took a culmination of miracles just to be here.
Say now. Who and what got you here?
Billy Ann and the blood.
Say now. Who and what got you here?
Shirley Bennett and her prayers.
Say now. Who and what got you here?
Augusta King Silver and her trust in God.
Say now. Who and what got you here?
Ella then Raafe.
Say now. Who and what got you right here?
Billion and Joseph.
Jimmy and Jamie and
Rhonda Louise.
Camille,
Eugene.
Carmen.
Rosa and Carnell.
And
Say now. Who and what got you right here?
Tammy and Doris.
Solomon.
Lucille,
And Destiny.
Quay.
Dorothy Reeves,
Billy.
Jesse.
Jemai.
poetry,
Asia.
walking, dancing,
Love.
Dan.
Jamaica.
Jitterbug.
Say who and what got you here?
Laughter.
Past versions of self.
The Hargraves.
The Watery River.
Robert and Rebecca Black.
The dance.
My sisters.
You say, point yourself out on a map for me. I take your finger. I press it against the heel of my palm. I say, here is the honeysuckle that Mama would never let me put in my mouth, lest I think just because something is sweet, it means that it is mine and easy to take. It is entangled in the fence across from the church cemetery where 3 people with my birthday are buried. And to the heel of my foot, here is the playground where I would make bouquets from dying maple leaves turned rudolent, where I first learned the beauty of decay. And to my knee, here is the fog that lingers over the battlefield facing my elementary school. I suspect my tears come from that same water. And to my nose, here is the porch where I would eat pecans with my great-grandfather. The night air smelled of water moccasins and was thick with laughter that lulled me to sleep. And to my shoulder, here is the cotton field where my great-grandma almost killed a man who thought my granny's blood would be sweet and easy to take. And to my ribs, here are the tabernacles in Tennessee and Texas and Arkansas that my mama would make out of closets, still echoing with the prayers that have kept me here. You ask where? I insist. Here.
Amy, thank you for the many times, but especially for the one time we were at that house party. It was a chilly night, Carolina crisp cold, but I still had my crop top on. Oh, I tried to sparkle, didn't I? Tried to dazzle, didn't I? Tried to insist that I wasn't distraught and so swollen with sour shame over loving somebody who was there, not loving me. Tried to pretend I wasn't spilling over with grief about how I was a sad black girl who was sad about being a sad black girl, and I was just trying to be a dazzling one who trusted in my own abundance instead of being convinced of my own scarcity. Wasn't fooling nobody, was I? Yet I kept on anyway until I was so saturated with meta sadness and tired of sloshing through the house with my hurt when I finally stumbled to you. You were studying cut-up, disfigured images with such loving attention at the art table when I nearly collapsed in your arms. Sorrow consumed my lungs, drowned out any flicker I had left me bent over, splintering, made my breath smoke from a snuff flame. And you took my hand in that moment. Thank you for walking around the house before returning to the steps to sit. Thank you for helping me find my breath again. Thank you for being a witness to my weeping, for not promising me there will be other loves, for simply saying, it hurts, doesn't it? And requiring no more from me than the yes, yes it does, that I could only chokingly offer. Such a simple question, but recognition like this is often foreclosed to me. I'm not supposed to hurt, you know? And if I do, I'm not supposed to stay like this, you know? Thank you for not having me translate my grief, situate it in a larger pattern, make it coherent, manage its excess to be worth your presence. Thank you for interrupting and soothing any notion I had to interrupt my teary shudder and crumble with the assertion, I'm not usually like this. I don't usually do this. Thank you for letting me do just that. For going ahead and be just like that. For going ahead and letting me. For letting me. Yes, you let me be. You let me be. Thank you. Notice, even when I say I
do not speak singularly, more like singularity. We be coursing through the course of the world. There's a reason why when I speak, people say I sound just like my mama, because my mama and them is speaking in me, and with me, and through me. Yes, before I use my tongue to cause undue harm, may I remember that it is my mama and them speaking with me.
Besides, if you are so concerned about knowing what you cannot know now, then how can you know what I need you to know in this moment, which is that my tongue is sore and my spirit aches. And I need to know, can I fit right there? Right there in the crest of your arm. Can I rest here? Let's keep in touch. Please, don't let us lose touch.
Where is the Motherworld?
Listen, it's in, not at. It's in your breath, in the whistle and hiss, the steam as you chant.
We ready. We coming.
Atop a jail building in ruins, yes, it's in your breath. And in the never dwindling kindle of your fingertips as you reach out to touch the hands of your kindred.
You're living and you're dead that keep you here, right here, where we offer ourselves as the remains of the remaining future.
Keep breathing. Don't stop now.
Yes, in our breath and in our hands that fend us, defend us from the state that craves our death, seeks to snuff our breath, lick the bones, chew the sinew.
And in those same hands tending to the fire, tending to the tendons pulled in flight, to the raised roots of bedraggled hawthorn trees, to the composting of our present.
Tending to the dream that what we need and what others have convinced us is nowhere can be found in the now here, like...
When you said rent shouldn't exist, so here's a little money for it. Or don't got no money for rent, but take all the food you need.
Or don't have any food, but wrap yourself up in this. Or don't have anything to wear, but here's a card. I've been thinking of you. And the song written for you.
And a milkweed found by chance, and that paper you've been wanting so you could write your mama a letter to let her know you're okay. Or a map of the hidden ways to get back safe.
Listen, we've always already been molding and shaping, spinning and folding, birthing and sharing. Can you feel it? It's in our breath and in our hands. Between us, we've got the Motherworld, the whole Motherworld in our breath and in our hands.
Here, we got you. Yeah. We look out for you. We always looking out. We feel you because you see us, and you touch our hearts. You move us. So when you be gone, we notice, and we be missing you. You ain't even got to worry. Ain't even gotta worry when we indebted to each other. Indubitably.
I'll take care of it.
We say,
I'll take care of you.
we beholding you. We behold you. We bonded to each other. This our bond to each other. We bound up with one another and unbounded by each other, made boundless and bountiful through one another, made abundant with one another. We'll look for you.
If they tell us to go, we'll stay.
I'll look out for you. I ain't afraid to turn back and reach out for you.
We'll turn to salt for you.
You are kid. You are bond.
You are covenant. This our covenant. You feel how our reverbs. We gathering together here to bring in something altogether new, but we not new to this.
No,
We true to this. We've been new to this. This mutuality. We've always been taught how to do this. You remember. You remember how my mama and your mama would be playing that game? Where they could see who could pay first for the check, or my mama would be buying just a few things for the house. But your mama will already have her cash out to slide it in the cashier's hand while my mama was still looking through her bag. And it was never about paying each other back, because they could never pay each other back. It was just about giving, because the giving felt good. So they were going to keep on giving.
And what about my grandpa who had chickens but would trade grains and the soap he made for your auntie's chicken's eggs?
Yeah, see how we were already learning, already giving, already given what we needed to be with each other anew?
Listen, baby, this you can believe. It means the world, the whole world, to be sharing another one with you.
And the augurs among us direct our gaze to the sky all alluvial, breaking through, breaking blue, and we open our mouths to catch the cerulean, catch the rugged blues again on our tongue, blurred and bruised, decadent deluge of dirge, drenching skin, dandelions, and dirt. Diviners say we dancing dizzy to the ends of the world, dancing at the end of the world to elsewhere, edging to flight, and their flight be. We be a many forked-tongued folk, glossolalia gurgling, crossing, and translating other realms folk. Apocalyptic glitch, we put our hands on our hips and put our hands in the air, hold our hands to the haints and catch their iridescent feathers. Oh, haints, come true to us, come blue to us, come through to this juke joint we call earth, this jagged jollification. We won't joke, you know, we keep our dead kin with us as the dead kin have kept us the living. Listen, empire can't catch us, but can't catch these hands of redistribution. Come on. These moonfire spells to undo and redo. These fractal winged myths, exploring the means, this newness, this emergence that isn't actually that new at all if we tell the truth about our origins. This is quite old, blues old, which is bones old, which is dirt old. Oh yes, we've got our poems, parables, songs, and our own poems as record that we've refashioned ourselves before. We've questioned ourselves before, quivered with loss before, made portal of crisis and quantum leap rebirth, bled and tended flesh wounds with rest and stinging medicine before, because the material without the spiritual and psychic does not a dialectic make. Let's get the rhythm of our feet. Let's get the rhythm of our throats. Holding a cosmic alchemy, a tragedy and celebration that can turn this thing upside down so that the sky becomes soil and soil becomes sky and dirt is what we seek for salvation. Verily, verily, when you get this rhythm, meet us at the crossroads. You'll know because you'll hear whistling from the mulberry trees. You'll smell them too. And we'll be there, perched, looking real zennial and otherworldly. We'll be humming with the haint, conspiring about going up yonder to be with our mother world. Zoom, zoom. We like to fly away to right here.
silly. Hey, y'all. Can we take a breath? I need a breath real quick. Just. If I try to do a whole list of all the gratitude, I'd just be talking all night long. So, one, I hope that you will spend some time with the program. There were brilliant hearts and minds and spirits and hands that made this work possible. And it's really important for me to name that these are people that you shop at the co-op with or drive down 147 with. Like, we're your community, we're your people, we're your neighbors, and we made this for you, specifically for you. So thank you for hearing the call and hearing your name and answering. And thank you for being witness. Audience is a passive word, but witness is an active act. Thank you for bearing witness and being witness with us. And thank you to everybody who's on the live stream right now. Thank you as well. And in about 5 minutes, we're gonna take a quick breath, shift the lights. We will have a talk back. If you wanna stay, ask some questions, hear about process, we would just love to have a brief conversation with y'all. And whether you're staying or leaving, there is ways to offer reciprocity to this. Whatever amount feels good to you, whatever feels good and generous and abundant to you. We purposely made it a pay what you can, pay what you want ticket because we didn't want cost to be a reason why folks could not come and be part of the witnessing of this. So whatever, your presence is the gift, truly, and whatever you're able to offer, we really appreciate it. So we're gonna take a quick moment, take a breath, drink some water, and if you are wanting to stay and hear a little bit more about how this thing came to be and all that, but one thing I do have to say before I let y'all go, since some of y'all are leaving, is that this piece is a choreographic adaptation of a percentage of the manuscript by Destiny Hemphill that is coming out. When Miss Nina Freeland wrote the charter for this space as a church of the arts, one of the things she wrote in the charter is that where the poet is the prophet, and I feel like Destiny is that, just is. So the pre-order link for the book is out now. It's coming out March 1st, but you can get the pre-order right now today. Here's the card, but we're gonna also send it in the post, thank you. We will put the link, because we know y'all want the book. I want the book, everybody want the book, your mama want the book, everybody want the book. So get the book, yes. So, we're gonna take 5. Also, there's some cards if you really I need it now tonight. I can't wait for your email, Monèt. There's some cards on the table as well that you can take with you so you can clicky-clack before you even get home. 5 minutes, I'm gonna drink some water, we're gonna pull out some chairs, and we're gonna ask some questions. Thank you.
you'll work with this. I'll try and, yeah, it's you. These are kind of trying.
Hello, everyone. If you are staying for the talk back, we are going to get started right now. So if you want to find a seat, and we're going to start the talk back right now. So can we take the music down?
Hey there.
Hi.
Oh, I think I'm Mike. Give me a moment.
My mic is hot.
Let me not say nothing about nobody.
I know, right?
Oh, wait, there's more
Can
one
we
say
take the
here.
music down? Okay.
You're like, all right.
I think you.
Is that
I mean, you
okay?
do. Yeah. You can sit wherever you want to.
That's my seat.
I don't think she will. Fight on me. Come on. I like that person.
Okie dokie. We are not going to keep y'all long because it's Saturday night and I'm sure you got fun, fancy plans after this.
It's fun and fancy.
Fun, fancy. Which may include
Sleep.
Netflix. And your bed. But we do want to take a few questions, answer some questions you might have. This really is a time for y'all what are you feeling? What we did last time, and I would love to try that again, is we just started with like, what themes, what's ringing around inside of you? It could be words, it could be themes you saw, it could be...
True. Thank you, Raafe.
Thank you.
Oh, how do you put
Yeah, what's ringing around inside? Just feel free to shout it out.
Okay.
Gratitude.
I'm trying to close the door. It's cold.
The earth is kind, but the world is cruel.
Say that.
Grief. The water is the water.
Is the water. Corey is the water.
We already know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Mama say, I say.
Mama say, I say. Woo.
Yeah, what y'all know?
Hey, live stream. We know y'all there. If you're there.
Shouts to the live stream.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for that. As y'all are thinking about your question, we'd love to just give a brief history of how this came to be. That feels like a great place to start. Should I? Do you want to kick off?
I can start.
Yes.
So in 2017, which there's more people tonight who know me from 2017, I was heartbroken and exhausted and feeling unfaithful to what I knew to be true, that this world can end and we can make something infinitely better and abundant, that honors the earth and honors Black life on the earth. And so I began the manuscript as a devotional practice to access again faithfulness. And so, and so the deep love that I have for everybody that grew me up in Durham and watered me, and who I threw down with and fought alongside with in the streets, like, is all up in the manuscript. And yeah, but I went away, wrote it, came back at the start of the pandemic. Monèt and I did a virtual event together in our respective living rooms, for Acorn. And Monèt said, "There's something about your poetry that hits me in the back of my knee." And I said, "Ooh, I like that." I was like, "Oh, never heard that. Tell me more." And so now Monèt will tell you more.
Yeah, it really was, I don't need that. It really was the I Say piece, which, can you say the real title of that piece, please?
Him in the name of Mama and them. Lucinda braiding blue violets into Nellie's hair.
It was, Destiny read that piece, it hit me. It just like landed in me. And I feel like immediately all my people, all my ancestors were like, that. We want that, what's that? Who's that? And something in me was just like, that needs to be a choreo poem. Like that just needs to be embodied. So I hit Destiny up like, have you ever thought about, I'm trying to see who I'm ringing off of. Have you ever thought about doing this as a performance? And is there more of this? Like, she's like, yeah, there's a whole manuscript. I'm like, great. And maybe, I don't know. And in, true pandemic, COVID, the now time fashion, I really thought that we were going to be doing this last September, and then I thought we would do it in July, but now we're here in November. So, and I think everything happened in its own time, and we had workshops that folks in this room were a part of, Antonia and Jesse, like Sarah, like we were here, like the whole piece was really grown here. Like we just like listened to words here. We invited Serayah to come on as a dramaturg, and then as a co-director, and then now y'all saw them on the stage. Which is exactly, keyword, just don't tell me you ever want to be in the show. If you tell me, I might put you in a show someplace. So if you want to be on stage, just tell me, whisper it in my ear, because I will get you. The whole cast is like, yeah, that was me. I was at the grocery store, and I don't know what happened. But yeah, so that's really how it happened, and so grateful to Northstar and to Heather specifically. Before there was even really a fleshed out idea, I was like, Heather, there's these pieces by Destiny and I want to make into a choreo poem. And Heather's like, hey, we have some money here, make it happen. So here we are. Yeah.
Destiny, I have a question for you, if you feel comfortable answering it. I feel really tripped out in a good way, because I feel like for years and years I got to be in space and hear you perform and like invoke the hymn for Mom and them. And I just wonder what has changed for you in the process of having somebody else invoke that work and invoke all of the words that are yours. In this piece, to the extent that like you want to share with us how that process of giving over and sharing with has changed your relationship with her.
Most of, and so live stream can hear, I'm going to repeat it back as best as I can, which is you have the context of hearing, particularly the hymn in the name of Mama and them, Lucinda braiding blue violets into Nellie's hair way before this, and it's trippy. And so what's changed for me in this process of having these lovely beings enflesh the work? Yeah. It's been really transformative because, well, with that piece, for instance, the way that the piece came down to me was just like a very channeled download, and I just felt Nellie really on my heart, who, she didn't read text. She read people, but she didn't read text, and I just really heard her say, like, I want to be on the page. I really want to be on the page. I want people saying my name. I want to be on the page. And then when Monèt began interpreting it, Monèt was like, yeah, like, after studying it over and over again, I realized this is about your endometriosis. And I was like, oh. Because when I was writing it, I wasn't cognizant of my endometriosis. I was just building like some concept of the way ancestral woundedness lives in my body. But yeah, and so then when Monèt did it, I was like, whoa. And then like I thought of it, when I was writing it, I really thought of it as ancestral veneration. But then, and I remember telling Monèt, you know, thank you for honoring Nellie. And then I came back and was like, also thank you for honoring me, like in that interpretation. Because I was also bearing witness to the magnitude of pain in my body on the day-to-day as a lived experience that also reverberates against ancestral pain in the cosmos and transverses through my flesh and all that is both mine and not mine and all the above. So that was really transformative, and I think also just what's been really cool is I really feel like we're siblings in like a family unit. And also like those sculptures that have many faces. And so there's, yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is that it's tripped me up, it's been trippy and it's also been very, what's been trippy about it is that it's been really affirming, because in writing the manuscript, from most of the manuscript, I was away, and people were like, I don't get this. I'm not the prime audience. Why don't you ever consider me? It's like, so it's been really nice to see, like, to be affirmed and like for people to spend so much careful time and hours and hours and hours like getting in their bodies is mind-boggling. It's very humbling. It's holy and it's sacred, and it's just been really beautiful to be considered. Thank you, Destiny. Thank you to the whole wonderful ensemble and team. Thank you. I have been thinking a lot about the necessity of collective Black breath, uplifted in sound, congregational Black singing, and just being. I'm thinking of Bernice Johnson-Regan and her luminescent interview on a Bill Moyer segment where she drops many truths but proclaimed, quote, the song will maintain the air as your territory. Oof. Destiny, your poetry be congregational Black chorus. Could you share more about how Black sound plays a role in your practice? Wow, thank you, Janae. Also, I'll say it's you, boo. Omololu is you, the short of it. but I also want to hear everybody else about Black Sound because we created sound together. And I would love if you feel called to the round. Adeo. You can have my seat. Yeah.
Do you have a response?
Oh, well, my response is you, boo. I'm a Lolo. Yes. Ditto.
Wow, hey y'all. Greetings. Hi everyone. What was the question again?
I think it's our sound designer. You couldn't tell by.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah, we should clap for that.
Thank you. What was the question again? I know Black Sound, but like.
How it's a part of the practice. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Omalola, you and I, we've been in study together, and I feel like Black Sound is similar. You know how there's all these different elements we tend to focus on: earth, water, fire, air. I heavily exist in this ether space that holds all of these elements together. And I think that that is my experience of Blackness, of holding all of these elements together as an ether body. And so Black Sound has been, I think, a place to be undone and a place to metamorphize, and also became a character in this piece. I think for me it really, my challenge was, this was also a deep creative growth edge, designing sound for Motherworld, of just finding the quality and dynamics in each of the hymns and poems and figuring out, if there were no words, what would this moment sound like or feel like, and reaching beyond kind of verbal expression to touch into these places that have no words. And so I don't always have words, and I think I find a refuge in sound. I think under these sort of white supremacy cultures that heavily valorize the written word, there's just a deep expansion and liberation that I experience through the sonic plane, where, yeah, I don't need to necessarily use my tongue to get the point across. But yeah, there's so many dimensions there, and I also find profound liberation through, yes, Bernice Reagan Johnson, shout out. Yeah, she's absolutely through voice and sound. I'm really curious about, there was a version of this where there was going to be a ring shout, right? So really bringing in these different Black sonic traditions, I think, is an element of Motherworld that I'm really curious about what future versions could look like. So in this moment, I am meandering in my thoughts to this question, but I'm really glad you asked, Omalola. Thank you.
I think too that Black breath and Black quiet as Black sound was really important to this practice. I mean, and to the crafting. And like years ago, I did a performance, and I asked for some feedback, which I do. If y'all got feedback, I want to hear it all the time. And someone was like, you know, sometimes it just felt a little I was bored sometimes. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I think, because as an artist, I really feel like it's important for us to be with Black interiority, that even when there's quiet happening, that there is a depth of what is happening on the inside, and that there's a power in witnessing the Black quiet. And so even in the breathing, even in the long pause, You're not like, I'm not a tool, I'm not an animatron that turned off because I got quiet. I'm actually working. And I think it's really important for us to be with the working of the quiet. And and also I think the invitational, the ring of when I breathe, breathe with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in the room together, we're taking breaths. I hope that you also are breathing with us. And because that's one of the differences between live performance and something that's like film, which like all the mediums have their own power. But something about being in the body, knowing that I am breathing in my body and you are breathing in your body and we are in breath together. Like that too is Black sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just lastly, want to lift. Thank you, Janae. The many different dimensions of sound happening here. So, designing kind of what you are hearing take over the space. These recorded sounds that I produce. There are also those silent pauses, and I think there was really intentional curation around where we needed silence and breath to kind of build and move the piece. Like King and Brittany's Calendula and Craw's piece, where we did have a sound for that, but then decided to take it out, and I actually think that made it a much more powerful piece. So decisions like that, of like what to keep quiet, how to build in sound as part of what's moving us towards the Motherworld.
I think we have time for one more.
Oh, okay. I don't know, but the other thing that I like for you, Omololo, is like my poetry is oral poetry anyway, and it was really weird in my program because they were like, oh, you can tell that the poet pays attention to sound, and I was like, y'all don't? Question mark, exclamation point, emoji, but that's also the tradition of like, Tony K. Bombaro talks about how much like expressive arts is like mandated in Black cultures, where it's like, you gotta do something. Like, if you can't sing, you need to dance. If you can't dance, you need to write a poem. If you can't write a poem, you need to do a sermon. If you can't do a sermon, you need to memorize scripture. If you can't memorize scripture, clap your hands, do the tambourine, but you gotta do something up in here. And I can't sing, as my father is, wanting to remind me. But this is like an expression of sound is in the poetry, which is really cool to have in flesh. And then like, Omololo, you helped me pay so much attention to breath. 701, Ferris. That was a cauldron for what became Motherworld. And so, yeah, I love you. And I'll talk more to you on the phone.
Together to sort of almost secretly make something up that we're going to do. And so it seems to me that the cast really conspired on this, breathed together. And I just wonder how it felt to the individual members to be part of this performance that was clearly woven into something much larger than any one of you.
Thank you for that question. I'm going to do a quick recap for the people on the live stream. What did it feel? So the root word of conspiracy is actually conspire, which the Greek root is to breathe together. And so the question is, what did it feel like to conspire, to breathe together, to make this work and to let it live in our bodies and to make something that was bigger than us, to make together something that was bigger than us individually. Yeah, I'll kick it to y'all.
I'll keep it short. If I had to be Power Rangers with anybody in this world right now, a meteorite falls to the ground and grants us the ability to do the work, I would pick these people. It's been great. I want to be Power Rangers with you. That's so nice. I feel like for me, conspiring together, it feels like the only way that we can actually do what all it is that we say that we're trying to do. And it feels like when we talk about collective breath, it reminds me of like how our rehearsals and how doing this together has changed me as a person, because I feel like breathing together gives you more capacity to breathe, to speak, to fly, to walk, because we need each other's breath to breathe. Memory. Anyway, but yeah. But so there's that. Also, I feel like this desire to be an individual inside of something bigger than yourself is a human want, at least for me. It's something that I've always been sort of grasping towards, and something that like church never had, and sometimes like in a different way community doesn't have in a lot of different ways, but it's something that I definitely found and was able to blossom with and into in the room with these people. And I feel like, yeah, like no matter what happens after this, like we have one more show and then after that, but no matter what happens after this, I feel like you were saying, we're a family unit, we're Power Rangers. This is never gonna, like a giant tree reaching up to the sky. And I feel like it's not gonna change, you know what I mean? And so I'm grateful for that. And the breath has given me that.
Yeah. I think when I was invited to be a part of this, it was kind of like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll come be in this thing. Monèt invited me. Yeah, okay, cool. And it was like, I love Destiny's poetry, so yeah, this sounds dope. And then I think there was a thing that started to happen where it was like, I started to be transformed, and I started to find myself in calendula, and I started to like have this deep sort of connection to this group of people in a way that like, if my day was terrible, I could still find the energy at rehearsal, right? That like being together, whether we're like twerking to Beyonce or, you know, singing the Clark sisters together as our warm-up, which happened regularly. You know, there was just this energy and this like love, I think, that we cultivated. And so it meant that once we got to, you know, the last 2 weekends where we're performing it in community, that like if nobody else showed up here, if it was just us and the tech folks, like every night, that it would have still been fine, right? Like we still did something together even if nobody else witnessed it. And so I think that's what it feels like. So like, it's great that y'all are here. I'm so glad y'all are here. And, you know, the thing that I'm taking away is the process, I think, more than the, like, putting it out into the world.
My classmates are so good at answering questions. I don't know, the words that are coming up for me are like trust. Like I've had to really trust myself in a different way to be a part of this. I had to trust y'all in a different way that I've like never trusted other humans, let alone people that I don't know as well. Thinking about how much I cried before we even got to this. There were a lot of tears that happened in rehearsal, so many tears. And before I even got on the call with Monèt and Serayah to accept the role, I remember reading the manuscript like in my room on my phone, just lying I'm crying. I poured tears into each part of this script. Mike's just my friend tonight. Yeah, I cried so much, and I think that, for me, that feels like the standout piece around like what you're asking in terms of like what it means to be larger, to be a part of something that's larger than you. Because a lot of times I didn't really know why I was crying. I think there were moments where I was crying for Destiny, perhaps, maybe for the stories and the ancestors that are connected to this work, for my own ancestors, for my family, for parts of myself that that don't exist with us on this plane. And yeah, I feel like this work puts into language so many things that I was like, upon reading it, was like, oh, I didn't even know we could say that. Or like, I didn't even know there was words for what that feeling is, what that desire is, what that longing is. And I feel like this work really, yeah, it asks something deeper of each of us. And I think, yeah, to everyone's point, like siblings, transformation, Power Rangers, like all the things. Like I just feel, yeah, this work has forever changed me. Being part of this cast has forever changed me and has both invited me into something new that I'm still learning, still catching my footing with in myself, and then also reminded me of something that I came to this earth with. You know, like I think this work really calls up out of you some stuff that, just some stuff, period. Yeah.
And lastly, I'll say that I just feel broke open is where I think I am at this point. I'm a classically trained theater artist. My mama's a theater artist, you know. It's nonsense, y'all, it's nonsense. So there's just a way that I was trained around like, no, this is what you do to make a show. And this is how you are on rehearsal. And this is what you keep outside, and this is what you bring in the room. Like there's just like these boxes. And this work, these people, these words, and then the values that we set, like being in a directing team. So myself, Serayah, and Destiny directed the piece together. Like we all held different parts of that. Being in a directing team meant I had to be accountable to other folks and their leadership too, which meant that they're not trained theater folks who are like, no, by any means the show's gotta happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, no, Monèt, no. So, and I was like, oh wait, we don't gotta do it? We don't gotta do it like that? It's like, no, actually, Monèt, if we say we're gonna do a show about the Motherworld, we have to embody the Motherworld and our values. Like, we can't just do the performance and then not live the thing that we say that we would. And I'm like, word, you're right. I'm gonna put that away. So there's some things inside of me. And then because of that, my style of leadership had to change. Like, I was like, oh, actually, I need to be honest that I am grieving, or that I don't have it, or that like what does it mean to let folks, even in your leadership, to let folks carry you and to let folks hold with you, that you're not the one that's like, okay, everyone else, you can cry. Y'all can have feelings with me, I'm fine. I'm a leader, I'm the leader, it's fine, it's cool, everybody's fine, it's cool, I'm gonna show up, I'm an artist, it's great. And be like, no, actually, I am hurting. I don't have it today. I don't have it this week. Yeah. And to be held in that, and to also have created something that could hold that, and for me to trust that, is really big. So now I'm like, oh, what else? Where else can I shift? Where else can we hold power differently than the ways that we've been taught to? Because if it ain't that, I don't want it. I think this process has really taught me how to share power in a new way, and also know that my power actually is expanded by sharing it.
Right.
Yeah. So that was a great place to end. Thank y'all so much for spending this extra time with us. Thank you for the folks who stayed on the live stream.
Yes.
Thank you, Janae, our intrepid, amazing stage manager. Woo! Thank you to Matt, who's been running our live stream. Thank you, Matt. And Patience, who was just here to watch the show, but stepped in, who's our set designer, who stepped in to support tech as well. Thank you so much, Patience. Tomorrow night's show is sold out. We're probably going to make the link available to watch at some point for folks who are like, I heard about it, but I can't come. Like, okay, here's your 5 days or your 7 days to watch. So check out for that email. And then we don't know what's going to happen next, but something is going to happen with this work. We are going, I feel like whatever's next is going to be in support of making sure that that bookstores and shelves across the world have Motherworld on it. But if you have ideas, dreams, if you want to offer some feedback, we would love to hear it. Feel free to email the Motherworld Choreopoem at gmail.com. Anything else? Thank you. Just thank you. Thank you and good night. Thank you.